Ladies and gentlemen, I do not want to alarm you, but I have received dire news in the mail of all places. It's a flyer, and at the top of the flyer, it says, "Warning," in all capital letters. Below that is a skull and crossbones, so you know it's deadly or it's pirate related, which either way, I mean, I think we're in for a good time. And this is what it says below. "The robot I built escaped my basement and is now roaming the neighborhood. I am currently trying to track it down and disable it. Until then, you are advised to stay at home and look out for the sound of bike wheels and a mechanical voice saying, Aeiou. It's equipped with an axe and it hates children." What? There's a children-hating robot that's equipped with an axe that's running around your neighborhood, and this person who built this robot is now trying to disable it. What a great idea for a story! This is hashtag Flash Fiction. It's a show about writing in real time. I'm your host, Eric M. Hunter, and I've been writing stories since I was a child. There's a million ways to start a story, and you never know how it's going to turn out. It could be good, or it could be really bad. Let's see what happens. So again, apologies. I do not remember where I found this. I'm on the internet, obviously, but I don't remember if it was like in my Twitter feed or on my Facebook page or Reddit again, since I'm on Reddit for so much. But it's just, imagine, it's a Tuesday afternoon. You worked your 9 to 5. For those who are fortunate enough to work a 9 to 5, most of us work like a 7 to 5 or a 9 to 7 or a 12 to 12. Most of us on the bottom. These are the hours we work. But let's just assume, you live in a very nondescript neighborhood, an okay part of town. When you walk outside, you're hearing lawnmowers, dogs barking, kids screaming because they're playing around and having fun. And you mosey on down your driveway and you go to the mailbox, and it's your very traditional, wooden post in the ground, black mailbox on top, tin metal. You open it and you got your bills, you got your junk mail, and then you pull out this. I won't say that it's just your basic computer paper. Maybe it's a little bit thicker than that. Maybe it's got a little bit of weight to it, and it's not glossy or anything like that. I mean, it is pristine for the most part. There's not smudges or anything on it. And there it is. Warning. The robot that this person has built is now on the loose and it hates kids. Advised to stay inside. And we even get a couple of nuggets of just interesting things about the robot in general, i.e. the sound of the bike wheels, the fact that a mechanical voice is saying Aeiou. I don't know if they're just vowels in the English language. I don't know if they actually say a word. I guess I could look it up. Maybe I should. So we're just going to assume that it's Aeiou, and it's just kind of strung together. And it's a mechanical voice because it is a robot. So there's already a lot to work with here. And I hope you kind of grasp that too. When inspiration like this, or when these kinds of things I come across, and I kind of get that jolt of creativity where it's just like, oh, I can see this whole picture in front of me now. I'm walking out to my mailbox. There's the house bill again. And I thought I paid that credit card off. And why am I getting another bill? And what is this Reach magazine with all these coupons for restaurants and stores that I've never heard of, but apparently they're around me? And then I just get this plain piece of paper with black text with a skull and crossbones on it. It says warning on the top. Like, how do you take that? I feel like in reality, if I'd seen that, I'm like, oh, what a silly joke. And then that's when the terror happens. That's when you hear the bike wheels. That's when you hear the mechanical voice saying the vowels, and then we're already into our story. So that's kind of what excited me about this. The other thing that I was thinking, because I've never done it before, ever, that I can remember, at least in my adult life, I've never written a story in second person. There's a good reason for that. Writing in second person is, it sticks out like a sore thumb. But instead of saying he, she, they, or I, you're saying you. You walk out to the mailbox. You pull down the mailbox door. You pull out your mail. You think that it's blah, blah, blah. You think you hear the sound of squeaking wheels, but that's crazy, right? This can't be real. I don't know. Like, it's not something that I've ever been attracted to because I feel like the stories that I have read in second person, and for whatever reason, I can't think of any off the top of my head, which is unfortunate. I feel like it either comes off as childish or like the story is written so well. Like just everything, the writing, the prose is so good that it wouldn't matter what point of view it's in, first, second, or third. It would still be a good story. I'd still be enjoying reading the story. So I don't know if it's just because maybe it's probably a shortcoming of mine. It's second person isn't something that I've really practiced except for maybe, when it was explained to me in English class back in, I don't know, middle school, high school. And I'm a big third person guy just because I enjoy like going inside people's heads and seeing how other characters perceive things. And like, I want everything. As a reader, I want to know what everybody's doing, what everybody's thinking, those are the things that I like. And I don't know, with second person, it's like, well, it's not first person. So you don't really know exactly what's going on in their head. It's not third person because we're not using proper nouns, proper names. I don't know, but I felt like when I was reading this, when I saw this image online, I was like, you know what? This might be my chance to write a story that's in second person. Why not? Let's do it. We're going to do it. That's what the show's all about. Writing in real time. Then we edit it down for your enjoyment, which I'm noticing over the numbers of listens. As long as it's under 25 minutes, it seems like it gets more listens if it's over 30. So we're going to try to keep it under 25 just for you guys. But yeah, so that's kind of my thought process of this story. Okay, so the character walks out, he grabs his mail, he sees the flyer, doesn't really think much of it. Then we're immediately thrown into the action. So, we hear the squeaking of the wheels, we hear the mechanical voice. Then the character takes off inside the house. We do the peeping through windows, seeing what other people are doing. Maybe we see the neighbor across the way, like, open their mailbox and then look and read the paper. And then for some reason they see the character and they're like, what the heck is this? And then like the character's like, get inside. And then maybe that's when the robot shows up. Like that's when we physically see the robot. And then I want to do something with the kids. So it hates kids. So maybe there could be like a bus that drives through and the character's waiting for their son or daughter to get off the bus. And then like, it just becomes this big to do. Like, I feel like this is very action. This is going to be a very action-packed flash fiction piece. And man, I have no idea how I'm going to end this. Would it just be a cliffhanger? Do we leave this on a cliffhanger? Do we leave it just like a running to safety? Because at this point, in the story, it just reminds me back to any other horror slasher. We're running from the thing, like maybe even a zombie. And it's like, oh, well, we got to keep running from the zombies because the zombies are going to keep coming. Or maybe the person who made the robot finally comes, at the 12th hour and stops the robot one way or another, apologizes. And then, I don't know, just kind of, that's where the story ends. I don't know. I like the beginning. I feel like I like the beginning and the middle. And maybe, as I'm kind of writing, we'll figure out what the ending's going to be. What is that called? Mailbox door? That's not right, is it? Is it just a mailbox door? Yeah, just a door replacement. This reminds me of the story of It's All Theatrics, where it's just like, I need to know what like the specific names for a telephone are. It's just door. It's just a mailbox door.
So that wasn't too bad. It's funny. As I was writing it, I realized that I could end this any way that I want to end it. I don't have to, as long as the robot's there and we're facing off with the robot, I can pretty much end it wherever I want. So that's kind of what I did. Like I ended it with like kind of a square off, because I felt like I was getting close towards the word count, and we're at 10:17. So yeah, I'm gonna run this through Pro Writing Aid and do a quick read through, and then see where we're at.
All right, so
quick reread, a couple of fixes here and there, and then Pro Writing Aid hashtag not an ad brings us back down to 979. Yeah, this one's fun. I feel like the second point of view is interesting. It forces you to sit in the place of the protagonist to experience exactly what they're experiencing, even though that's kind of what you want to do with writing in general. You want to put the reader in place of what's going on in the story, or at least try to give them, that's why you go into describing the senses, what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you feel, what you taste, to try to put your reader there in the moment. But using second person forces it, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know if it's, I don't know if it's something I would do again. I don't know if I could go with anything longer than a flash fiction piece, though. That's the other thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's, I feel like it works here. That's all I can say. Man, sometimes Google Docs is just like Word. Like the second you try to do something, the whole thing goes crazy and haywire, and you have no idea what's going on. I think it's just dumb enough to be entertaining, I guess is what I'm getting at. So, yeah. All right. So we're going to call this one Aeiou, or OU. OU? Whatever the robot says. Here it is. After settling in from your long day at work, you remember that you forgot the mail. You throw your shoes back on, then walk out to the front door. The soundscape is full of running lawnmowers, barking dogs, and screaming kids playing a serious game of tag. You walk down your driveway and out to the road where your mailbox sits. Pulling down the door, you find it filled with bills, junk mail, and a magazine full of coupons for restaurants you swore had shut down years ago. Under all of that was a single piece of white paper. On the top was the word warning in capital letters. Below that was a skull and crossbones. You take a moment to look around to see if anyone was watching you, ready to have a good chuckle at your reaction. But there was more below the warning. The robot I built escaped my basement and is now roaming the neighborhood. I am currently trying to track it down and disable it. Until then, you are advised to stay at home and look out for the sound of bike wheels and a mechanical voice saying, "Oh, you, it's equipped with an axe, and it hates children." You flip the paper over, but there's no more text. You look up and down the road. You shuffle the paper amongst the rest of the mail and walk back inside. When you make it to the front porch, you hear a squeaking sound. Low at first, but then you notice that the sounds of children and dogs are absent. What's left is the slight breeze of the wind and the squeaking. You turn and focus. The squeaking continues to grow louder, and a muffled voice now accompanies it. You take a few steps down from the porch and peer up and down the street. Over manicured lawns, you see a glint of light flash off something shiny. The squeaking continues. The muffled voice, albeit still low, drifts by. Panic strikes. You turn and fumble with the doorknob, dropping all the mail to your feet. You twist and twist, finally freeing the door from whatever invisible force that was holding it in place. You rush in and slam the door behind you, leaving your mail on the ground. You lock the deadbolt and the knob, but you aren't sure that's good enough to stop an axe-wielding robot. You run over to the kitchen and through the window over the sink that looks out onto the road. From across the street, you see your neighbor walking out into their mailbox. Shuffling through the envelopes, he stops on the warning. He looks around, similarly as you did on first reading, then turns completely around to face your house. You knock on the window, hoping to get his attention. The knocking alerts your neighbor to your direction, and you discreetly motion for him to go back into his house. That this is not a joke. He raises his hands and shrugs his shoulders in confusion, but something catches his attention. He drops his mail and runs off back towards the front of his house. Right as he makes it inside, you see it, the child-hating robot. The squeaky bike wheels are almost deafening, and you try your best to stay low enough as to not to give away your position. The robot stops at your neighbor's driveway, running over the fallen mail. It sits for a long moment, then turns to face your house. You duck down behind the sink again and quietly hold your breath. Once you feel like enough time has passed, you creep up and peer out the window again. The robot is gone. You stand a little higher to gain a better vantage point. You listen for the sounds of anything, but there is only the wind. Suddenly, a crash through the front door. You jump back from the sink and move to get a better angle at a safe distance. Another crash, and you see sunlight piercing the carpet. And another. The voice calls again.
Aeiou, Aeiou.
You hold your hands to your ears, hoping to muffle out the banging. Then it stops. You pull your hands back and hear the sounds of the school bus's brakes coming to a full stop. You hear children talking over each other and laughing. You rush to the sink's window again and watch as the axe-wielding robot slowly stalks to the front of the bus. This is my chance, you think. You rush off to the front door and out onto the lawn. The robot is twice your size. The axe looks like something out of a Renaissance fair, huge and sharp as hell. The bus driver doesn't see it. The kids don't see it. It's moving ever closer, still muttering, "Aeiou, Aeiou." You look to your side and see the garden hose that you forgot to put up yesterday after watering the hydrangeas. You pick it up, get enough slack, and swing it in your hand like a lasso. The robot turned again to face you. It's about 30 feet away from you. At last, you remember the water. While monitoring the robot, you turn and twist the knob on the faucet. It's tight at first, and you struggle to turn it on. The robot starts to move towards you as the school bus drives off, unbeknownst to the events in front of it. You grip harder as the robot closes in on you. Feeling the water drip on your hand, the hose grows stiff and shoots water from its end. You turn and face the robot again, but it's too close to dodge out of the way. With both hands, the hose flings water onto the axe-wielding robot. What a dumb thing. It's just an axe-wielding robot who hates kids with squeaky bike wheels. It's such a dumb thing. I don't know. Like, it's just a goofy... I don't know. It's just a goofy thing. But tell me what you think. You can hit me up on Twitter at FlashFiction4. You can email me hello@EricMHunter. I want to read your stories. I do. On this podcast, people want to hear your stories. Preferably under 1,000 words, give or take. And of course, everything goes back to the writer. We just need to get more entertainment out into the world, and that's what this podcast is for. And until next time.